You've got a business to run, big and heavy products to ship, and customers who need them now. When you've got the right driver and the right equipment, you can bet on a spectacular result. Bennett understands complex logistics and puts the best team, the most time, and the latest technology into every customer relationship. So you can sit back, relax, and enjoy the race. Let us handle the rest.
Together, we can move anything.
And a warm welcome to the Q3 Architecture TA2 Series, which comes to you live from Mid-Ohio Race Course today. I'm Jonathan Green, and alongside me today, Wally Dollenbach. Great lineup for you today to get the insight of one of the greats of Trans Am and many other series here in North America. But it's hot. We're underneath this heat dome, and I know you've been to Mid-Ohio many times before, but we've got to start with the heat. It's very, very hot here, and it's going to be tough.
It's a factor. There's no question about it. I mean, for the drivers inside the car, even me being on the track with the TA car yesterday, I completely overheated. My cool suit wasn't working properly. You're blowing hot air inside the car. So not only the drivers have to deal with it, but the cars have to deal with it. The brakes will get hotter, the tires will get hotter. So managing the heat today is going to be a big factor.
You've been out there on track. How are the conditions? They've resurfaced in the winter. How big a difference is that?
They did a beautiful job repaving this racetrack. It's super, super smooth. All the bumps are gone. So the track conditions are great right now. So I think we're going to see a really good race that way. There's plenty of grip all over the racetrack, which is great.
It's also going to be interesting. We've got Austin Green, his first ever pole position, three-dimensional services. He's been doing Xfinity. He's sharp right now and didn't seem surprised yesterday to get the pole. Nathan Hearn coming in from Australia, who was here last year, is also on the front row. It's going to be interesting.
There's so many good young talent in this series right now. It's incredible to see, and it's great to see these young guys coming in here, doing some TA2 races, and also going to other places. They're getting picked up, from development teams and stuff like that. So, yeah, we've got a lot of talent in the field, and we got a lot of old-timers in the field, too.
I was about to say, you wouldn't bet against Rafa Matos, who's up there as well.
Of course not. He's one of the best in a TA2 car, so it's a great mix.
So we do have exactly that, a great mix. Heat will be a factor, as Wally says, but we've got a brand new pole position in Austin Green. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, Ben Sissel will give us the latest. How good is this? Look at this view from Losowski.
It brings all my fans, it brings the audience into the car with me.
Speed turn, 140 mile an hour entry speeds.
The quickest and most efficient way for me to get information to my drivers is from using the V-Box HD2 system.
Kind of controls things, and he rockets by Sima.
There's Boris said.
One of the ways you overtake here at Sebring is really good in the braking zone, like this one right here.
Both go around.
There's the green. We are back and at it.
Watch this. Oh, look out, Miller, look out.
Well, thank you very much. Here we are at the Mid-Ohio SpeedTour. It is hot out here, ladies and gentlemen, and that is going to come to be a factor in this race. we have actually kind of canceled our fan walk, grid walk, because we didn't want our drivers to be out here in basically winter coats in this heat in Ohio. But I'm going to come up here and talk to the pole sitter. So happy to have him back. He hasn't been here. I'll come around, George, but he hasn't been back since Sebring. He has the pole award with us this weekend, so here's his sticker. But Austin Green, so proud of what I'm seeing. You did so well with us last season. Moved on to Xfinity just a couple weeks ago. You were at Sonoma. We were all watching it as a Trans Am family, cheering for you in the top 3. It was really cool to watch you up there, but now you're back in TA2 at Mid-Ohio on the pole. That's got to feel good.
Yeah, it's great to be back in the Trans Am Series. It's great racing, and I think today's going to be a good day. Hats off to everybody at 3 Mountain Service Group, Peterson Racing. We've unloaded pretty quick and set a pretty quick lap, and got my first career pole. So now just have to follow it up in the race, and hopefully we can talk after.
Nice. And your team owner, Doug Peterson with 3 Dimensional Services, is here in a camouflage car and honoring, if we can get the shot of this, Bruce B. Miller. One of my friends, a photographer here, always had my back in the photo holes, so it's very missed, but we love that he's here in memory, running the camouflage car, so that's so cool. Austin, good luck out there. Yep. So then we come back here to a competitor that did really well with us last year, but this is his welcome back. Running in TA2 Australia, which is always really fun to watch, but Nathan Hearn back with us with a different team, with Adrian Lostowski's team. But how does this feel to come back and be in second here?
Awesome comeback, yeah, and look, I mean, it's been great to work with Dick and Chaz from How Racing again. It's been probably a bit more of a satellite operation, but Adrian's team from Fast Auto, it's an incredible team, and I'm enjoying working with them. Adrian's P3, so I've had a really, really strong start. So hopefully for the race we go good. Definitely in probably a different mindset what I was last year. Last year was full attack. I think this year I'm a little bit older, a little bit wiser, hopefully, and we'll see how today goes.
Nice. Well, welcome, and I'm remiss, but you reminded me just by being here that this is the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series that you're watching. We're going to go green here in just a few minutes. But speaking of going green, we're here with Brent Cruz, last year's TA2 champion, and we watched the ARCA race that happened here last night, and you were leading most of that race up there until the end. But now, Mid-Ohio, the new pavement, you probably have more laps on this track than in almost everybody else in the team in the circuit here.
Yeah, I think that comes with a little bit of an advantage. Yesterday we had a great day on our Mobile 1 Toyota Camry. I think I made a little bit of a mistake there at the end that I think cost us. But grateful to be able to race double duty, and hopefully we can finish one spot better than we did last night. So looking forward to today. We have a beautiful Franklin Road number 70 car. Nick Tucker and Joe Claridge did a great job preparing this thing for me, and I'm excited to get on the racetrack.
Nice. Well, Brent Cruz, good luck out there. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a little bit tongue-tied. It is hot, like we were saying. And I want to point out here, speaking of the heat, Coolbox is one of our new sponsors. Coolbox, the iceless driver cooling system here. We have 2 drivers that drive with us on the West Coast that developed this. It's a great system. The air comes in here, and they're on our 2-time champion, Rafa Matos, to keep him cool. It's a lot lighter, but the advantage that I see with these, not only is it very cool and it's iceless to save the weight, but also if you're in any kind of situation with co-drivers, you can change out the plugs very easily without losing any water or ice or anything like that. So that's very handy. Then another one of our champions, Thomas Merrill, up here. So we've got 3 TA2 Series champions in a row. And there's Thomas Merrill. If we can get a shot of him there, George, just sitting in the shade. Don't come out here, Thomas. You're good. I want everybody to stay cool. We've got a lot of other drivers under the blue tent, but that's fine. Then we come over here to Jake Drew with Silver Hair Racing. Jake Drew, Mid-Ohio challenging circuit. What's going to be your strategy when the green flag drops?
Strategy is just going to be to try to get a clean start and try to survive for these 45 laps and 75 minutes, whatever comes first. Hopefully have a clean car at the end and see where we end up.
Nice. I love it. Well, Jake Drew, good luck out there. So let's come over here, watch out for that spoiler, Caleb Bacon over here, just baking in the sun. It is hot out here at Mid-Ohio, isn't it? Well, Caleb's out here in the number 18. I love the foil lettering there. But, Caleb, on a day like this when you know it's going to be so hot, do you have any extra strategies for that?
Well,
with it being this hot, it's going to be very wearing on the tires and brakes. Everything that will already get hot, it's going to be even worse with as hot as it is. So it's going to be a conservation game. Stay clean, stay on track, and just don't get everything torn up in the first 20 minutes or so.
All right, well, there's Caleb Bacon, a beautiful car. You can't miss it out there. Another one of our drivers that was in the race last night is Gio Ruggiero. Did really well. I believe he finished third in the race with ARCA last night. But we want to come over and talk to Ben Mayer. Ben Mayer perfectly in front of our Trans Am sponsors here. Looks like you've got a new suit for BOE Marine. So look at this. Looking good. And you've had a crazy season, 2 pole awards. First place finishes. How does it feel here to be back at Mid-Ohio?
Well, not the qualifying result we would have expected. Would have liked a little higher. We're just trying to figure out the cars still, and it wasn't the greatest result in qualifying. But hopefully, I can make it to the top 5 pretty quick and stay up there, and even make some more positions later in the race.
Nice. Well, Ben Mayer, there we go. And then George, if you don't mind, let's get a shot here of Doug Peterson, 3-Dimensional Services Group. He also was with us at Sebring, but this is the car I was talking about. Bruce B. Miller, 3-Dimensional Services Group photographer that unfortunately passed away right before the season started, but just a great guy, just a huge member of the Trans Am family. So Doug Peterson, it's great to have you back here with us. Then we've got Roberto Sabato just kind of hanging out in the shade. Roberto, let's talk. What kind of cool system are you running in there, and what's your strategy for staying cool?
Well, I've got my cool suit on today. We produced these huge blocks of ice, so it'll last for most of the race. Should be okay. It's definitely cooler in here than it is out there right now.
Nice. All right. Okay. That's good. Nice job. And then somebody that should know about playing in the heat, Jared Odrick, just from the NFL here with us now. Now my son's favorite driver after meeting you, but now somebody that, conditions in the heat like this. What are your strategies for beating the heat?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, before this, it was like making little eye contact, staying in the shade, not talking, overheating yourself. But, really, it's just staying calm. I think since I got into racing, the racing and the car has taught me to really introduce a new pregame where I can't run through walls. I don't have to, run through people anymore. It's way more zenned out in the car, and that's something that I really have to focus on. And I think that's going to be the key for me in keeping the car on track this weekend.
And I hope that black underwear keeps you cool out there too. So we'll come back up here to the here. Adam Andretti, watch for Adam Andretti. He may have the most laps in this group at Mid-Ohio. He was an instructor here for years. Josh Hurley also has a lot of laps. So we got to get a shot of him because look at that pretty umbrella there with Nick Middleton from Q3 Architecture. So this is going to be a crazy race. Jonathan, it is hot down here at the grid, but I'm going to send it back to you in the booth, Jonathan.
Great stuff, as always, Ben. Yeah, looking high above the Mid-Ohio circuit. I'm sure if you're a familiar race fan, you've seen it many times before, but it's the hottest I've been here for sure. But talking of hot, look at this. Austin Green, his first pole position, and alongside him, Nathan Hearn coming all the way from Livermore, Australia. He knows Trans Am and is a 2-time champion, but now his first front row start here in America. Lostowski and Cruz on row 2, our current champion Cruz coming back. Rafa Matos leading the championship, and alongside him, 22 championship Merrill. Then it's Jake Drew and Ben Mayer on row 4. Ben Mayer already a winner. And Barry Bowe's having a great season so far in Pro-Am. He lines up on row 5 with Josh Hurley in the number 28 Greenlight Simulation BSR car. Further down, Adam Andretti is back out and looking good. Double duty this weekend. He's doing both TA and TA2. And last night in action at the Menards ARCA was Connor Mosak, always a regular here and hoping to go well, but didn't get the qualifying. The car was loose. Boris Said Jr. on row 7. Keith Prochuk alongside him. Matt Tift, local man coming in this weekend, has raced here before, but first time in Trans Am this year. Tommy Sheehan alongside him, Eric Caton and Caleb Bacon. And then it's Gio Ruggiero in action again last night in the ARCA race, so has got an hour under his belt. Doug Peterson lines up on row 10 alongside him. And again, good to see Doug back. Sabato, you heard from him with Ben there, trying to stay cool, as is the former NFL star Jared Odrick, Cale Phillips, and Chris Durbin, row 12. Jim Gallagher on row 13, and Doug Winston alongside him in the Bring Back the Trades, number 98. Ty Young in row 14 and Bruce Raymond alongside him. Now, Annunziata has made a change to his car. Now, not an unfamiliar line you've heard, because he's done that the last few races and still ended up on the podium. He takes a penalty and has changed some tyres, and it will start at the back, but watch him to side through Heat 2 again in action last night. It's a beautiful day here in Mid-Ohio. The fans here in the Midwest certainly know their motorsport and know this track like the back of their hand. The drivers say it's one of their favorites. It's a real driver's circuit. It's so iconic. But it's also a fan circuit, because there's plenty of places like this to just perch down and get a seat, get in the shade, and watch some great racing. Let's head down once again to Ben Sissel as we get ready to go TA2 racing here at Mid-Ohio.
Well, thank you, Jonathan. I'm here. Our color guard is Save 22 Vets and American Infidels. I'm here with Matt Phillips. Tell us about Save 22 Vets.
Save 22 is in regards to the 22 veterans that kill themselves every day. It's battling the veteran suicide epidemic that we have going on.
And why wouldn't we as Americans look after our veterans first?
Well, sir, I really hate to say that we're forgotten about a lot of times, but a lot of times we're forgotten.
Well, we really appreciate your service. Thank you so much for being here. Our invocation is from our very own Ohio State soccer player, Marvin Gray.
Let us pray. Lord, I thank you for the opportunity to be here and the beauty of your creation. Lord, it's always great to be with the racing family. What special, special people they all are. And now in the midst of this heat today, I pray that you would bless and protect our drivers, our crew, our safety workers out on the corner. Be with them, be with the officials, and be with our fans. Thank you for being here, fans. And Lord, again, we thank you for our veterans, for all they've done to protect our country. And we pray for our current troops and safety forces that you would bless and protect them. God bless the USA. In your name we pray, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Marvin. Let's get a shot here. Save 22. Unbelievable organization from Ohio, the Cincinnati area, right? So how can we help out your organization?
So John Mosier with Save 22 is the one who we got in contact with. They'll be able to help you out, and with the IGY6 Motorsports team over there, they'll be able to set you guys up for whatever, however you can help.
That's awesome. Now, what is the main cause of these self-inflicted from
times it falls to post-traumatic stress. Some of the things that you see, you don't really forget about, and sometimes the families can't deal with it. So a lot of times veterans see it as the way out.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here, Save 22. We're going to take a pause here in the live stream so we can welcome.
They'll be able to help you out with the IGY.
Little pause here.
They'll be able to set you guys up for whatever, however you can help. Awesome. Now, what is the main cause of these self-inflicted
Yep, we're looking high above the Mid-Ohio circuit, and we just heard from Marvin Gray. And just want to say a warm welcome to our MAV TV viewers watching across the United States, and of course this your home for Trans Am, MAV TV. And if you're not watching live, don't forget, tell your friends to tune in Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, all the way through to 10 o'clock, because we've got highlights of both the TA and the TA2 race. So this weekend we start with TA2, which are about to get into action in a moment, and alongside me will be Wally Dollenbach, and delighted to have him along board. Wally Dollenbach Jr., one of the great champions, two-time champion of Trans Am in his time. Let's head down once again though to Ben Sissel as we're about to get underway.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here at Natalie Cottrell. You are absolutely going to love this. She sang here for us last year. So, Natalie, take it away.
Thank you. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Wow. You can hear the applause. Ladies and gentlemen, Natalie Cottrell, absolutely beautiful. Expect big things from her, ladies and gentlemen. But then we've got Jim Greenleaf here from Summit. He's been with us all weekend up there set up. You've got all kinds of things for our drivers and spectators. And Summit is a big part of the state of Ohio, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. We're based here up in Akron, Talmadge, Ohio. Been here for many, many years. Proud partners with SVRA, Mid-Ohio. It's a beautiful weekend.
Nice. Now, give us the kind of little elevator speech. What is Summit Racing, and what do they provide other than just everything for racers?
Like I say, everything for racers, everything you need for your car, daily drivers, hot rods, muscle cars, race cars, you name it. I mean, we got it. If you want to go fast, come talk to us.
All right, so we're about 40 seconds from the most famous words in motorsports. And, Jim, I'm going to put you on the spot. Who are you rooting for in this Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series today at Mid-Ohio?
You know, we got a little corporate connection to the Hendricks.com car. So our pro stock driver Greg Anderson races for Hendricks. So got to kind of pull for the teammate.
Nice, I love that. Staying loyal with Boris Said Jr. out there. So we are about 15 seconds. Jim, are you ready for this?
Ready.
All right, well, take the microphone from me and deliver the most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines!
Dude, thank you, man.
Great stuff, and finally got a chance to talk to my co-commentator this weekend, Wally Dollenbach Jr. And Wally, this is going to be interesting. I know you're watching it from a different angle because you're racing tomorrow, and you've already been out in practice today. You've got qualifying coming up. In that respect, what are you looking for out of this race that maybe you can glean some interest from for what you're doing?
Well, like I said, talked about in the opening, I think the heat is going to be a really big factor for these guys. And, you know, one thing is when you get overheated, you start making mistakes. And it's going to, you know, these guys are really going to have to keep their heads on straight. The track is in great condition. That's one good thing about this paving job here. The place is really smooth. But I think it's really important to get through the first couple of laps clean. Don't ruin your day, or hopefully you don't get your day ruined by somebody else. And, you know, let the car settle in. It takes a few laps for these cars, you know, to get the brakes up to temperature, to get the tires up to temperature. And then after a few laps, you see what you got and then go after it.
Yeah, no question. I just want to mention we had the Menards ARCA Championship here last night. They did a 1 hour plus race here last night. A lot of cooler conditions, but interestingly enough, 3 of our regulars, Brent Cruz, our current champion, Giorgio Ruggiero, and Thomas Annunziata, were all involved. They all did very well indeed. Brent Cruz led for a while. Connor Mosack also involved in that. He finished 13th, but Brent Cruz was second, and Ruggiero was in third. Thomas Annunziata in fourth. The race was won by another former Trans Am man, William Swallowich, and so a lot to be gained by going out and getting that extra hour. Was that something you did when you got a chance?
Well, I mean, watched that race yesterday, and it was a great race.
It was.
And when I'm talking about, you know, the resurface, there was a lot of side-by-side racing in the ARCA, and those cars are big, heavy cars with a lot less tire. And they really did they put on a good show yesterday. So this should be a really good race.
You know, you talk about the resurface. We always ask about what the resurface does, but I've not heard any complaints, except for the fact that, as is normal, it takes time for a track to kind of I say rubber in, we do that over a weekend, but I mean, generally speaking, to get a really worn line and to get a track where it feels as comfortable as it did before it was resurfaced, what have you noticed?
And I think a lot of it has to do with who's doing the pavement jobs. There's a lot that goes into the surface and what they do. I know there's some tracks in the past that have been repaved and have been really super slippery, and it takes, like you said, a long time to get it rubbered in. A lot of cars and tires to make the track have grip, but I haven't found that problem at this place. This place feels to me like, they smoothed it out, but there's still a good amount of grip in it.
I've been coming here a few years, and the first year I came here, we had the likes of Ernie Francis still battling away, and it immediately made me realize just how tough this track is off track. And what I mean by that is you can see the grass either side. And with these Trans Am cars or even ARCA cars, if you go off track, you're going to pick up grass. You're going to become basically a large metal lawnmower, and you're going to scoop all the grass into the radiators. And I've often seen overheating here on a dull day, on a not hot day, because the cars pick up that grass quickly.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of that in the past. And also, if you look at this in-car shot, even if you get off, there's not a lot of room to recover. You don't have much grass before you're into the guardrail. So this place is very tight.
We're on board with Barry Bowes in the SLR M1. It's been a revelation season so far. We'll also be on board with Jared Odrick, of course, who's coming into Nitro Motorsports this season. Swap teams from BC and really taking it very, very calmly, the ex-NFL player, but he's high expectations. You'd expect that from a professional athlete. And, of course, don't forget, in the Pro-Am, Barry Bowes, who I mentioned, leading at the moment by, just 9 points at the just 90 points at the moment. That sounds a lot, but with the scoring system as it is, Tommy Sheehan can catch that up in the time. We're at the halfway point in the season. Keith Projek is third. Jared Odrick, who we just mentioned there, will be on board with, is in the hunt there. And in the young guns, Thomas Annunziata, who starts at the back today, 5:09 to 4:90, so 19 ahead of Ben Mayer. And Ben Mayer had a chance last week at Pittsburgh to make hay, but Annunziata again coming from the back and getting a really good podium. So right now, Ben Mayer needing to take advantage, likewise Jake Drew, of Annunziata starting at the back. But I don't think it'll take him long, and he'll be hoping for some cautions and some good luck. We'll also be on board, as we said, with Jared Odrick. We'll also be on board with Ben Cruz from Nitro Motorsports as well, and Ben Mayer and Thomas Annunziata. So we're going to get some great pictures. As you can see, the cars lining up. Austin Green in the all-yellow three-dimensional services car on the left-hand side as we get ready for what we call a mid-corner start. We start down the back straight and head into the complex, into turn 4 for the first time. Good start from both the leaders, but it's going to be nip and tuck for the lead as Nathan Hearn is scything his way, trying to get the lead early on, the Australian. We're always used to his aggressive driving, and he's doing it again here and has taken the lead away from Austin Green, but they're still at it, nose to tail. Brent Cruz going wide there as we go on board with Adam Andretti. Will be on board with him as well as he tries to take on Connor Mosack.
There he goes, dive down in. Nice move by Adam. It looked like there might have been a little bit of a contact there, but boy, those guys were 3 wide.
Yeah, I know.
Turn 2 there for a while. That was really good stuff.
Yeah, I love the fact that we start, if you're wondering why we start down the back straight, is because it's too narrow into that first corner and not enough room to get through the full carousel, which we're in now, for the full field. So we start down the midfield. So effectively the timing starts now as they cross the line. And it's going to be Nathan Hearn from Australia, from Liverpool. They're watching in Adelaide, they're watching in Liverpool, and they're watching all around Australia as this young phenom from Australia, 2-time Australian champion from New South Wales, is doing the business. And we were joking over the weekend because he got his best qualifying yesterday, having not been in the car all season long. He's literally jumped on a plane and come here. So this is remarkable stuff to be leading against the field of seasoned pros and veterans who have been racing all season long. But Nathan Hearn, as we learned last year, is not afraid of anything. I saw him win 5 out of 6 races in the New Zealand TA2 Challenge earlier in the season. Back, talking of challenge, comes Austin Green at 4. Tries to make the inside. Now we'll look to the outside and see if he can swing around the outside and get the inside line for the next corner. Can't quite do it. We saw that in the ARCA race a little bit yesterday. People trying to take that advantage. Annunziata, one of them.
Yeah, really hard to make that pass on the outside coming up over that hill because you lose so much grip. If you can stay there, and it looks like Austin taking a peek, but if you can stay there, then the right-hander, you know, you're in a good position, but it's really, really hard to get any grip up there side by side.
Nathan Hearn has been working with the Howe family and the Howe team and their chassis, developing that. Moved to Michigan last year, but then went back to Australia when his ride ran out effectively. And he said his one regret was he had some great results here. He's never had a win in Trans Am TA2 in America, and today could be that day. They knew, looking at the calendar, that Mid-Ohio would suit the Howe chassis, and they said, this is where we want to try and make hay, and that's exactly what they're doing. Hearn, Green, Lostowski, and in fact, Hearn is in Lostowski's team, so he's part of the Fast Auto setup from Brooklyn in New York, and so Lostowski delighted to have him on board. You look at Merrill under pressure now as a recovering Cruz coming back with Drew as well. Cruz up to 8th position, Hurley behind him, and Andretti in the top 10. He's got past Mosak. Sed Jr. is in 12th behind him. Then comes Barry Bowes, the first of the P8. Wally, it's pretty nip and tuck out there at the moment.
Yeah, the end of the backstretch is such a great place to try to set somebody up and make the pass. But if you can't make the pass, it's really difficult. This part of the track is so tight, and your car uses all the racetrack, and it's really, really hard to stay along somebody. This corner right here is another corner where if you can get a run on a guy, you can make a outbraking pass down on the right-hand side, but that's like a commitment. You really have to commit to that, because if the guy doesn't see you coming, there will be contact.
Yeah, no kidding.
And Austin Austin really got a good car here, and he's really dogging Hearn. And I think he just needs to get close enough and stay close enough to where he can try to pull out and make that outbraking maneuver, whether it's up here in this next corner or the end of the backstretch.
Well, these two have got the chasing pack now. They've got about a second on Lostowski in the red and black and the white rear end to that car. Then comes Matos, and we're unfamiliar with Matos's colors this season. It's a different color for Matos, having changed teams into Nitro Motorsport, but loving working with Nick Tucker and the boys. And Nitro with a huge amount of cars here this week. I think 6 in all, and really doing a good job, Nick Tucker and the team. In fact, they've been the team to beat all season long, because they've hardly lost a race. Rafa's won 3, and there's the likes of Ben Mayer and Brent Cruz, of course, who have been there. But we're looking at the flagpole number 60 of Rafa Matos, who I would say that this is his favourite circuit. He's always gone well here since he began his Trans Am career back in 2018.
Yeah, you never count Rafa out of anywhere, but and there you go. There's Austin again. He just taking a peek on that right-hander. He just isn't far enough up on Hearn to make it stick.
How hard is it when you're in this position for someone like Hearn, because you don't want this pressure, because it's just, I mean, you're having to drive in your mirrors. So how do you go about making a gap?
That's a good question. It's pretty hard. I mean, you obviously got somebody behind you that's got a really, really good car. And the hardest thing to do when you're leading is don't make a mistake. Just drive your car, drive your race. Make that guy do all the work to get around you. The one thing that I've noticed so far up to this point is Hearn's car gets off the corners a little bit better. Seems like Green's better under braking, but he's just not close enough to get off the corner and stay there to make that outbraking maneuver.
Yep, you're exactly right, and it's a real battle, these two. They've extended that gap now, and they really are pushing on. 5 of the 45, a long way to go in this.
And Hearn decided to give him the outside, which is another really difficult pass to make.
Oh, nice switch.
Now, if he can stay there, then the corner is his to the right. But see how you just lose that little grip right there at the top of the hill.
Yeah, I watched two good mates, Marco Andretti and Connor Daly, who were in Arco, kind of like fish out of water, the two IndyCar drivers. One who led the Indy 500 and one who was pole for the Indy 500 not that long ago, Marco. And they were doing exactly that game coming out of 4 and 5 yesterday. And so I got a bit of an insight into how this race would pan out last night in the ARCA. But great to see the likes of Andretti, and great to see our youngsters also beating the likes of the IndyCar.
Oh, there we go.
Nice.
Now, again, on the outside, on this corner, really hard to keep that position, but that's what you got to do. Is you just got to keep the pressure on Hearn. Hearn's doing a good job. He hasn't made any mistakes yet, but Green is definitely putting a ton of pressure on him right now.
Yeah, the interesting part about this battle is Lostowski in third position is now closing in, and of course he's teammate to Nathan Hearn. So I think the battle plan, surely, I don't know how you guys talk when you haven't got information to each other, but I guess the plan is to get Lostowski in the mix, get him ahead if you can of Austin Green, and then allow Hearn a little bit of space.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously Green, wants to get by Hearn. I think Green's car is just a touch better right now, but they're very, very evenly matched. Oh, see, there's a little bit. He went in there a little bit too hard and got the car out of shape braking. That's what he's got to be careful of, because if you do that, you're going to open the opportunity up for Green to take advantage of it.
Of course, his father, David Green, a former champion in Xfinity as well back in the 90s. So familiar, obviously, to stock car racing and now racing in Xfinity in the three-dimensional colors as well. So big season for Austin Green. He started quite late in racing, but like I said, has that pedigree, and he has looked very, very comfortable since he arrived at Trans Am and since he's moved up to Xfinity and other series. So Austin Green, one to watch for the future for sure. Still in his early 20s. Nathan Hearn, similar age, but a real star from last year. He jumped out of nowhere at the end of 22 and did a one-off at COTA, liked what he saw, came back, did a lot of the season last year, sponsored by Cube 3, but of course they're now the title sponsors, and so Nathan headed back to Australia, where he's always been successful and got a big following, and has just decided that this, if you like, the stars align for Mid-Ohio, a track he liked, a track that the circuit and the chassis meld nicely together for Howe. And so Mike Cope Racing and the Howe chassis definitely one of the favourites here, as Austin goes again to the outside. Still can't make it happen, looks for the switchback.
I think, he's just keeping his mirrors filled. He's just trying to keep him there and force him into one little mistake. But now you got a four-car race basically at the front, because Matos is joining that group.
Yeah, it's the old story. It's great to battle, but the more you battle, the more you slow each other down, and everybody else suddenly joins it. It's the last thing you want, and you do not want Matos in this, because he'll just sit there in fourth and wait for somebody to make a mistake. Great overhead shots here from the drone, gives you an exact view of just how close it is. There's nothing between the top two, and in fact, if I would argue that Austin Green is almost using that chrome horn right now to push Hearn to a different place on the track so he can get past with ease, or try to force Hearn into a mistake as they dive into turn one again. Yeah,
Austin's car is really good through that last section that leads onto the straightaway. It just seems like Hearn's just getting off the ground. It looks like Austin's got a pretty big dent in the front of his car now.
Yeah, what can you see in the setup? Is there anything obvious that looks as though they've got different setups?
Well, I see Austin's car definitely, the nose is high, but he must have got into it. Look at the front of his car.
Yes, he has, big time.
So I'm not sure that's going to help him any.
I was going to say, that's a risky game in this heat, and with the radiator right there, the last thing you need is a dented radiator, even if it looks as though right now it's just what I call just bodywork, really, rather than the radiator. But he keeps pushing, and he's going on for it now around the outside. This is great racing, though, to see two leaders like this putting everything on the line in the early stages of this, and they're now going to give it away to Lostowski and Rafa Matos if they're not careful. Great stuff.
Yeah, that was a good move. It was a little bit physical, but those guys were side by side. It was good, hard racing right there.
Yeah, and Lostowski's got what he wants now, because he's right there behind his teammate, and or right in front of his teammate, but now he goes after Austin Green as they come through the carousel again.
I'm just curious to see if that damage is going to affect the aero on that car, because that's a pretty big hit.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, the cooling for the car.
Well, you can see all the way back to Brent Cruz now in sixth place. They're all bunching up behind the leaders. So that battle, while exciting and entertaining, was also changing the complexion of the race, as Lostowski now goes in pursuit of Green, see if he can do anything with it. Cruz making a move on the inside of Ben Mayer.
Very nicely done right there.
Yep, the 16-year-old and the 15-year-old, sharp at the moment. Both are doing several different championships. Ben Mayer already a winner for Nitro. Of course, it's his teammate, Brent Cruz, our current champion, just doing a few rounds this year as he stays sharp. Did Arca last night, got a podium there. And, oh, Merrill! Merrill's gone round, and Merrill was hoping for big things out of this weekend. He was 10th. Boy, that's not going to help the bottom of the car either, but he gets to 26. I think there's a little bit of red mist going on as well.
Yeah,
there.
we'll see how much grass. You mentioned earlier if he picked up a lot of grass on the nose of that car, he's going to have to come in and clean it, or the car will overheat really quick.
Well, Thomas Merrill's been up and down all season long. He's been in the mix, and he still very, very much is in the mix in terms of the overall championship. But he doesn't need another result out of. He does need another result out of this weekend, and that's not the start that Thomas Merrill wanted, but still a long way to go yet.
I tell you, the damage doesn't look like it's
not.
the handling of the car anyway.
Well, no pit
Green.
stops. Yep. No pit stops expected. And it's Green, Lostowski, Hearn, Matos, and Cruz, your top 5. Long way to go, though, yet. Yeah, I'm just looking further down. Maybe Josh Hurley, maybe Andretti, 8th and 9th at the moment, could come through. Mosak not shown yet in 11th place. And Boris Said Jr. with those Hendricks colors in 12th position, ahead of Doug Peterson in 13th position. Ruggiero not having the day he had last night, down in 14th position. Tiff, the local man, coming in this weekend in 15th. Odrick 16th, and 2nd in Pro-Am. Keith Prochuk just behind him. So a good battle in Pro-Am. In fact, a 4-way battle between Odrick, Prochuk, Sabato and Sheehan for the podium in the Pro-Am Championship. We'll keep an eye on Annunziata. He's 24th at the moment. Hasn't made the side that I expected him to make, certainly early on, but I'm sure he's hoping for a caution or two as we go back on board with Barry Bowes. Here's your Pro-Am leader, the Texan, Barry Bowes, with Asio Data, who's been a long-time sponsor of him, and he moved teams this year, and it's just, since he joined BC Race Cars, he's just not looked back, and it's just a professional setup for him, and he just felt like rather than doing it out of the back of the garage, as it were, with a very small contingent, going into a bigger team like this and getting help has really helped Barry Bowes concentrate on the driving, and it's showing because he's leading in Pro-Am, and he's on an absolute run at the moment. He's pretty much won everything there is in Pro-Am so far, hence the reason he leads the way. In fact, the gap at the moment is some 19 points for Annunziata in the Young Guns. He leads Ben Mayer, and it's 90 points for Barry Bowes in that Pro-Am Challenge ahead of Tommy Sheehan. So a comfortable lead for this man Bowes, but you never count anything out here, and it's only halfway through the season. Mid-Ohio, that halfway point. But Green, Hearn and Lostowski, your top 3, but soon to change. And we welcome back our MAV TV viewers. Wally Dollenbach Jr. and Jonathan Green bringing the action. Some dust flying up there, as that's Hearn! That's not Hearn, that's the number 3. I thought for a second there the colours was very similar. Oh, my word, that's Adrian Lostowski. But, of course, they are in the same team, but it was Lostowski, and I'm not sure what he did wrong there, but he's gone off while in a really good position.
Yeah, well, that's an easy place to either get in there and overbrake, or I don't know if he got tapped.
Yeah.
But that's one of those places where it really gets boxed up.
Well, we can have a look at it, and Wally, I'll let your eagle eye tell us what you see, because obviously a vital overtaking opportunity for Lostowski has turned into this, and it was Cruz coming up the inside of him.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, you know, when you're on the inside like that and you hit the curb, it's going to throw your car to the left, and it threw it right into the left of that 3 car, and yeah, he's not real happy about that.
Do you think the stewards will do anything, or is that fair enough, or at least a racing incident?
Boy, that's a hard call. That's a hard call. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely unintentional, but that doesn't help the 3.
Yeah, true.
You know.
Back on board with Jared Odrick. We got a good view there of also Boris Said Jr. in the Hendricks colours, and of course those are the colours of Kyle Larson in the number 5 for Hendricks Motorsports in NASCAR. But because Dad carried those colours and basically retired from racing, talking of Annunziata out, eat clean, bro. Well, sadly, he's going to be going into the pits. He's at the entry to the pit lane, is Annunziata, trying to make his way through, and this is not what he hoped for, and that Young Guns championship, which he leads by 19 points, is drifting quickly away with Ben Mayer still up in the top 5, but that, it looks like, Well, if you can't get that started, that could bring out a safety car. They can get to him fairly quickly and drag him to the left, but something highly mechanical problem there, because usually you just drift into the pits and be out of harm's way, but that's not the case. On board with Odrick. Yeah, we were at his home of Pittsburgh a few weeks ago. A first-round pick draft for the NFL from Penn State. So we've had plenty of drama. We've had a new pole position man in green. He's still at the front with Hearn. They swapped positions. Lostowski was in the hunt for a while in the top three. He spun out and has dropped down. He's down in 12th position. And we just lost Annunziata at the pit exit. Oh, sorry, pit entry, as Andretti. We're on board with him now with the Ultimate Headers team. Your teammate.
Adam up to 8th place, and he always moves forward in the races. I know those guys struggled a lot in practice, but got the car much better. And, Adam's Adam's a hard driver. He's always going to move forward.
Adam's one of the few drivers who sort of like the challenge of TA and TA2 on the same weekend. It's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is to do double duty like this, especially on a weekend like this.
Yeah.
I told him yesterday, I said, man, I don't know how you're doing it, but Adam's in good shape. He definitely conditions himself in the heat and stuff like this. So, he really does love driving both cars, and I love racing against him. I mean, I'm glad he's in the TA.
Now we've got a tow truck trying to get Annunziata out of the way, but they've carried on. The race director deeming it safe enough. Yeah, there's no expected pit stop, so you're not expecting anybody coming in the pits, but they need to get him out of the way as soon as possible, because if they don't, then it really does just put a hinge on anybody trying possibly to get into the pits for repairs, and you don't want to hamper anybody else's race. This is actually going on out of the corner of my eye, so I can actually keep an eye on it while it's happening.
Also, a place where guys spin out a lot.
Yeah.
So that, you don't want to definitely have a car sitting there if somebody gets into trouble, but go get them out of the way pretty quick.
Yeah, I can see them both moving now. So Annunziata will be dragged into the pit lane and out of harm's way. Meanwhile, Hearn and Cruz now going at it. Now, this is going to be an interesting battle. The 16-year-old Brent Cruz up against the 22-year-old Nathan Hearn from Australia. And Cruz getting through to what? Third place early on in this race. Matos still there with him in fourth, but drops off a little bit. Matos involved in that Lostowski shuffle up. Yeah, well, he wasn't directly involved, but he's dropped back, and I'm only guessing that he had to brake or whatever, because Cruz is through and now putting the pressure on Hearn. You can see the leaders for yourself. Hearn's got a bit of a gap, but not enough. He's got damage to the front, but as we said, doesn't look as though it's doing the car any harm.
Cruz's car looks a little better right now than Hearn's, putting a lot of pressure on him. And again, he's in a spot right. He's close enough to try to outbrake him. Decided not to here, but if he can stay right there, getting off this next corner, you might see a outbraking maneuver down in the backstretch.
Yeah.
Although I'm not sure Hearn is going to give him the inside.
No.
But he might make an attempt here, because he looks like his car is working really, really well right now.
You have a choice in Cruz's position. You try and go around the outside at 4 and get the inside line, or take the inside line here and try to hold on side by side until you come all the way round this long left-hander. Ooh, beached, not good. 16, Jim Gallagher. And and that's Chris Durbin. So 2 cars involved, probably in the same incident, I'm guessing. But Gallagher and Chris Durbin, the AMSOIL car, and we do have a full course caution. And I guess now's the first time, Wally, you're going to get on to the engineer and go, right, what are we doing? Oh, it's loose, it's tight, it's this, but it's not a lot. It's not like NASCAR.
There's nothing you really can do.
Yeah,
I mean,
you can sit and complain.
Yeah, you can complain, but there's, you've got some brake bias and you have some adjustments, with the bars and stuff. But really, once these races start, you have what you have. You have to drive around it, or you have to. When I say drive around it, if the car's not doing something, you need to start searching on the racetrack where maybe the car works a little bit better because of the way the car is handling. But
what can you do in the car? Can you change the
bias? Well, like in a TA car, I have a front bar and a rear bar, so I can adjust rear bar, front bar, and the brake bias. That's it. And really, my whole career, I have the biggest front bar you can put, and it's on full stiff all the time. I don't like a car that rolls. So, but during the race and as the fuel load burns off, the cars will change. They'll change how you feel. So you do have a little bit adjustment, but it's not a huge fix, believe me.
I'm guessing that Austin Green will be keeping a watchful eye on the temperatures just in case there has been any downfall from literally banging into the back of his opponent. So that's down a keyhole. Gallagher, I don't think that's just turning in. They probably came together. We'll look at it from Andretti, who's approaching that incident right now.
And I think, you know, this caution, I think everybody that's settled in now knows what they have. And, you know, like Adam, you know, he was started a lot further back. And if he's got a good car now, he's going to make up all that time under yellow. And it's going to be interesting. And I think Cruz has got a really good car.
Here's what happened now coming into the keyhole. You see Chip Gallagher jigging to the inside
it's
here.
an outbreaking deal.
Yeah, it's went straight up. That's classic Mid-Ohio, isn't it?
It's easy to do. You go down there and we all have mark. I do anyway. I pick my mark where I brake, and it's like, you know what, I'm gonna try to go in just a little bit deeper, and that's what happens when you go in a little bit deeper. So
all those years and you still go, I might just be able to.
Well, you have to listen to your butt. Sometimes when you don't, it gets you in trouble.
And I think, you know, Wally, I think you're a good example. You know, you gave up the big stuff a long time ago, but you just keep coming back to this. And it's a bit of fun, but you just like the cars. Am I right?
It's such a pure race car. Racing has gone in the direction with so much driver assist stuff now. Yeah. And these cars are, you know, your traction control is your right foot. End of story. And they're just big horsepower. They're very hard cars to drive, but they're fun to drive. And I mean, Trans Am has always been my favorite. I've driven just about everything you can drive, and I've driven a lot of cool race cars. But when it comes to driving a Trans Am car, to me, there's just nothing better.
There you go. It's a great advert.
And I love racing with the guys I'm racing with. This is really, for me, when I come to a Trans Am race, I really feel like I'm racing with my buddies every weekend.
Exactly.
You know, which makes it all the better.
All right, well, let's get the latest from what's going on with Austin Green. Ben Sissels with the 3-Dimensional Services team.
I'm with Jody Meessemer here with 3-Dimensional Services Group. First of all, so happy to have you guys back, but Austin Green back up in the front with a little bit of front end damage. What's your driver saying?
The car's still good. It's getting a little tight, aero tight, so hopefully we can hang on there and get some more laps and stretch it out. But he's doing a great job. We'll just see how this restart goes.
Any word from Doug Peterson in that beautiful camouflage car?
No, I've not heard, but other people's on the radio, but he's moving right up through the field also.
3-Dimensional Services Group back here with us in TA2. Jonathan and Wally, back to you in the booth.
Good stuff. Yep, we're taking a look at Austin Green's car now. Yeah, it looks as though actually, amazingly, the radiator survived better than I thought it might.
Yeah, for sure. And it really hasn't affected the downforce, it looks like.
No.
I mean, he's still running great laps.
Good kid, Austin Green, and he's certainly made a name for himself in Trans Am. Didn't start Trans Am racing till his early 20s.
His mom, Diane, was our PR person when I was driving for Keystone Beer at Roush.
That's wild. I met him. I met her actually at Sebring.
Yeah.
And I'd not met any of the Green family, and I was asking whether Dad Dave ever gets a chance to come and watch. And she said, yeah. She mentioned a few that where NASCAR, and because he still works in NASCAR, weren't clashing, and so I think it was one of the street races that he was going to come.
They're good people, both of them.
I always wonder, and you come from a family like that, whether it's harder or easier. The Andrettis have it, the Dollarbacks have it, but you know, when you come from your father's, he's the Xfinity, you get introduced as, he's the son of the Xfinity champion from the. That's got to be hard.
I don't know. It's kind of like a double-edged sword, I guess. I mean, to me, I didn't care. I mean, I just, I did it because I love driving race cars. It wasn't about, being famous or any of that stuff. So I just think when you grow up in the sport, you know all the ins and outs, and everything. It's not all. Hey, there he is. There's my hero right here. It's not, it's not all glamour, is what I'm saying. It's a lot tougher than it looks, unless you're Tommy Creasy, who makes everything look easy.
I was about to say, as we're under caution, Your secret's got out. You should have been quiet about the air conditioning. It's your own fault, Wally, because now
we're going to have the whole
rumor
product
has got
here.
round that this is the coldest and nicest place to be. So, of course, Tommy Dreese's jumped over the fence, run across the track. No, he hasn't, Stewards. He's come over the bridge, but he, of course, is racing tomorrow against Wally. But great to have you here. And, Tommy, what are you watching? What are you seeing out here? We've been talking a lot about the heat, but it's going to be a factor.
Yeah, well, first of all, it's great to be out here, and it's great to have Wally here, you know, champion, and just continues to be fast. You know, I told everybody, yeah, you don't, Wally's not going to forget how to go fast. You give him a good car, he's going to do good, and he's right there. So
I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I think we're going to have a ball.
I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
So you're pretty close to each other in terms of practice times at the moment.
Yeah, yesterday we were, the second to fifth was less than 2/10.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's in an 850 brake horsepower plus car.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's crazy with the heat. I think it's the first time, you know, you get used to the heat after you do a few races, but this is the first. We've had great weather at every race so far this year. So I got out of the airplane and I just went, oh, that's right.
Yeah.
and I'm from the West Coast, so it's not a dry heat.
I know, everybody in Texas was going, oh, yeah, get out of the heat for a few days, won't you? And I was like, yeah, no.
and to his point, you know, these guys are doing it every race.
Yeah.
And I'm a part-timer. So, it's an adjustment even for me to just get back in the car and go through all that. And, yeah, yesterday was pretty brutal.
Yeah, this is a big adjustment for Wally. Even though we've had great weather, the cars are still 120, 25 degrees.
Yeah.
And now, as the temperatures get into the 90s, the cars start becoming 130 to 140. And, you know, we're trying to figure out our cooling systems as best we can. But, man, they sure do feel good the first lap.
Yeah. Then you don't feel like it's anything.
I'm just in a hot bath.
Well, you're listening to Tommy Dreese and Wally Gollenbach Jr., who'll be in action tomorrow for our feature race in TA, so don't miss that. And, of course, a replay of it on MAV TV on Thursday night. And that starts at 8 p.m. We'll have the highlights of TA2 and TA. So you're home for Trans Am Thursday nights on MAV TV and live right here, right now. Green, Hearn and Cruz, two very interesting characters, all from different walks of life. One from Australia, one from, well, both of the other two from the US of A, and of course Brent Cruz on his way potentially to NASCAR, as is Austin Green. And yeah, it's just great to have. Here's a question I've been wanting to ask you for a while. We've got, back in the 80s when you were at the height of your game in Trans Am, was there as many youngsters, or were your head thinking, right, if I can go well here, this will lead to this, or was it a very different parallel?
No, I think in Trans Am when I was running, there was a lot of young guys that were looking to move on. Mm-hmm. You know, whether it be IndyCar or IMSA. At that time, it wasn't really a NASCAR thing, although that's where I ended up. Mm. But because we were involved, there was so much factory involvement back then in Trans Am. The factories would open up doors for you, gotcha, on depending on where you went. So,
which is what Brent Cruz has done. Yep. He's part of the Toyota program. He works out at Toyota, in North Carolina every week. So he's under their tutelage, and he's learning every week.
It's great to see that we got the talent back in Trans Am again, and the outsiders are paying attention to the series because there's so many good young drivers coming through.
Tommy, are you
Am I annoying?
No. Are you enjoying this era where not so much in TA, but we've had Justin Marks and a few others. It's mixing things up, and it's great to see different names coming in each and every week. And you really don't know. Our front row today with Hearn and Austin Green, probably we wouldn't have predicted, given both of them haven't been in the series.
Well, I think if you go, if you look at the 80s and the 90s, there were guys like the guy sitting next to me, Mario Andretti. Mm-hmm. They were jumping back and forth to different series. They wanted to just drive. Yeah. And I think that with NASCAR doing more road course races, I think this is bringing the attention that go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say we're about to get underway, and Austin Green now needs a vital restart. He comes out of the carousel, down the main straight. He's got that damaged car, but it hasn't affected him yet. What can Hearn do? Oh, and
wow,
he
he
has
threw it in
pounced
there.
quickly, the number 15, side by side out of turn 1,
Nice
heading
move.
towards the keyhole, but there's only room for one key. Oh, that's not going to be a good key for, he's off key completely now, Austin Green, because the front of the car has just been ripped off.
Yep. Now that is going to affect his arrow.
Yeah, slightly.
And good for that leader. He really held on to it.
Yeah, that was a great save because he was
pushed
jacked up there for a while.
He was pushed loose, and that didn't turn out very good for the second.
This reminds me of Rafa Matos at Coda a few years ago when he was running for the championship and he refused to come in and change the car because he just felt as long as it was running, he was just going to keep going. And I've got a feeling Austin Green's going to feel that way. But given that he's not in the championship for the whole season, does he come in or does he, keep going?
The biggest thing, well, the hood's down now, but when he's going down the back straightaway, that hood was up, and it's pretty hard to see. So as long as he can see, I think he's going to stay out there. But
I want to know who makes those hood pins because I can't believe
But hey, a view from two ex-champions, fair or not, Hearn, on that move?
On the inside move? Yeah. Oh, that was a great move.
Okay, good.
Green made a great move.
I mean, that was
right.
all...
He's in the. Is it Green
No,
or Hearn now?
Green's
Hearn's
in the
still,
third.
okay,
so
it's not showing.
Hearn
Hearn
led
made
them
a
across
great
the
move.
line.
Yeah.
Hearn made a great move.
Good. All right.
That's how you do it down in turn 1. If you can get down on the inside, that's a great move. And it's wide, and I was talking to Tommy earlier about a lot of times when they repave racetracks, it's really, really slippery. But I think there's a fair amount of grip as far as being new pavement.
Here it is again, guys.
Yep. No, he made a beautiful move down on the inside. Gave him plenty of room.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Ooh.
In fact,
Green just got into the back of him.
You could almost blame Green for not reacting quick enough.
Yep.
Wasn't anything to do with Hearn, really. So that's what's happened, though. Hearn at the front, and Cruz has gone with him, and that is ominous because, well, Nathan Hearn, if you beat this kid, you're as good as anybody out there because Brent Cruz in this position is rarely beaten, and he loves to be at the front.
I think right now, just even before the caution, it seemed like Cruz had the best car. He was really making some gains on the leaders, and he was just picking their spots, but I think he's really going to be tough to keep back in second.
Well, this is an intriguing race. 21 of the laps gone, and is this where the car starts to change underneath you guys, where your fuel load's going down, you've been using the tires, the heat's come in, you starting to feel it now a bit?
Yeah, this is when I say they get sloppy.
So we come out of the carousel, and yeah, it's nip and tuck at the front there. And interestingly enough, the wily old fox that is the two-time champion, Rafa Matos, absolutely on time and in a perfect position in third. Jake Drew just behind him in fourth, then it's Hurley. Hurley's done a good job. Josh Hurley up to fifth place.
And Green has hit his pit box. He's in pit lane. So most likely, I would say, done for the day.
And Andretti also moving up with Hurley. He's now in sixth place. Bo's now leading PA, Pro-Am that is, and is in seventh overall. Mosak up to eighth, and Boris Said Jr. in ninth. Lostowski, who had been in that run for the top three, down in 10th after that spin. But still it continues at the front, and so far, so good for Nathan Hearn. Got a bit of damage to the back of the car, but it's just peripheral, and Cruz is biding his time here. Maybe he doesn't want to lead. Do you prefer to be in second at this stage with so long to go? Ooh, what a mess, eh?
I don't think you want to. I mean, I think Cruz would like to get by, but Hearn's not going to make it easy. He's not giving him the inside on the out-braking corners. Here you see Austin unbuckling.
Yeah, there's still quite a few laps to go, right? You're not even just barely halfway.
Yeah.
And if you look at the top five folks, if they stay in touch with each other, then you're going to see maybe the two veterans, Hurley and Andretti.
Yeah.
And Matos.
Yeah.
It's who's going to be able to drive not so good of a car at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. As Barry Bowes makes a nice move, and that was nicely done at turn one. So looking a little further down the field, we're watching each and every battle. Bowes now moving up to what, 7th place. And we're still on the green here with 23 of the 45 laps done. Nathan Hearn got a brilliant restart and holds the lead but it was at the loss of Austin Green, who's now pitted and looks as though he will retire the car. Too much damage to the front of that, but it was a racing incident. My two experts here, who I trust implicitly, told me that it was a good, fair racing. In fact, the incident itself actually took place after the overtake, so no harm, no foul. As we watch Barry Bowes sidling his way through and leading in Pro-Am. He's got quite a good gap between himself and Keith Prochuk, who sits 13th, and in third place, Sabato in 16th overall, ahead of Sheehan. So we'll keep an eye on the Pro-Am battle, because it has been a good one. And with Annunziata out, that's the other big story. Thomas Annunziata, who's having a great season wherever he races. He raced last night to a great result of, fourth place overall. Now, Austin Green is out, but he's with Ben Sissel.
Well, thank you, Jonathan. I'm here with Austin Green, fresh out of the car. He doesn't look like he's fresh out of the car. Going into Q3, turn 1, Austin, looked like you were doing really well. You got behind the other car. Then what happened?
Yeah, no, I mean, we were the car to beat all weekend, and everybody knew that. So I think I had a big old target on my back from the start, as I'm sure you can see in the replay. So, yeah, I don't know. No comment.
Not the welcome back to the Q3 Architecture TA2 Series that we were all hoping for.
Yeah, it'll get resolved one way or another. So,
and now we had a question. Wally Dallenbach, Trans Am legend, is in there. Once the hood buckled like that, could you see over well?
No. I mean, I was trying to look up and you couldn't see, so it's not safe at all. So, but you know, hats off to the Peterson Group and 3-Man Service Group for their work all week, and hopefully we can get them next week at Road America.
All right, Austin Green, there you go. Gentlemen, back to this incredible race.
Great stuff, and yeah, some fighting words there from Austin Green. That reminds me of you two. Just saying, oh, it'll be resolved, but not being any more...
Well, it's funny. When things happen like that, you think they happen differently sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
You go back and look at them. And being a chief steward, trust me, when you look at the in-car and go, yeah, that's not how I remembered it, actually. But you know, no, I think when Austin looks back at that,
you've only got one view of it.
Yeah,
I think
that was a clean pass.
I think the pass happened clean, and you know, you get fired up when you get passed like that. And I think he came off that corner right on the bumper, and I think that knocked his car apart.
Yeah,
you know, maybe in hindsight he'll see that he was a little more patient. That car might have stayed together, and he could still stay in the race.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Another interesting story starting to emerge. Jake Drew has now moved ahead of Rafa Matos and into third place. And interestingly enough, Jake is third for Silverhair Racing in the Young Guns Championship. So another youngster on his way up. Hasn't had the limelight of perhaps this man Brent Cruz over the last year or so, but making his way in Trans Am and with Silverhair, and third in the championship at the moment on 4:13. So this will help his battle against Ben Mayer and Thomas Annunziata as they both close in on the leader, Annunziata, who is out of this race.
Boy, when you watch the top 5 or 7, they are hitting their marks. And this is a tough track to do that as the race goes on, but they're being patient. They're really hitting their marks, and that's where their time's coming from, here especially.
And really, this is the time of the race where from here on is where guys start making mistakes. You know, but you're right, Tommy. These guys are all smooth and they're all stuck together. They're doing a great job.
Look at that.
And let me just correct myself, because Thomas Annunziata has got back out there, and while he is several laps down, he's in 28th position. You know, you score over 100 points for a win in Trans Am. So if he does what he's doing right now and continues to side his way through, Thomas can still eke out some good points out of this weekend, and I know exactly what he wants to do. Man from New Jersey with Bayshore sponsorship, new on the car, wanting to make a name for himself, and he's been doing that in the last few weeks. Well, it's all stable at the front. It's as though they're waiting for something to happen. And it seems happy that Cruz is not cruising, but he's happy to sit there in second and just watch Nathan Hearn go about his business. They're not getting away from Drew. If anything, they're catching. Jake Drew is catching the leaders. So we're going to keep an eye on this, because Rafa Matos is just behind, and then if Andretti gets involved, well, fireworks will be had, I'm sure. So there's a long way to go. The heat is very, very tough indeed in Mid-Ohio. We've got this heat dome here in America, wherever you're tuning in around the world. We've got a lot of heavy heat that it feels hotter than it really is. There's just no replacement for getting out of the heat, but that's how it is. So, like I said, Matos, don't ever count him out. You said it earlier, Wally, and he's just looming in the background, isn't he? As Jake Drew is down, taking that Chevrolet and putting the pressure as Cruz now looks to the outside of the keyhole.
Yeah, I mean, Drew is caught the front two, and Matos is starting to reel them in. And I'm not sure it's because of Hearn's slowing them down a little bit. I know Cruz all over him, but it's so... Hearn's not giving him any opportunities. He's not going to give him the inside for an out-braking maneuver.
Yeah,
so hard to make this move on the outside at the end of the backstretch.
Now you can see Cruz is starting to get frustrated. He
Oh,
wants to get
what a good outside move.
Oh, he got a little shot.
Oh, no.
Oh, Nathan Hearn gets turned around, and again, one of those innocuous.
Well, Cruz got off the track. When he got back on the track, it shoved the car into the 15 car. It's, you know, it's a tough deal. That's what happens if you hit one of these curves or you get off the track. Your car is going to slide across into the next guy.
Doesn't take much.
Nope.
Well, he's got back running ahead of Boris Said Jr. in 9th. So it's not all gloom and doom for Nathan Hearn. And just a tough one, really. He went for it. And Brent Cruz can't be criticized for that, but it is what it is. So we're going to have a very different race now.
And there's the veterans just hanging in there.
Yep.
Matos and Andretti just.
Yep, Matos and Andretti moved to third and
moved up
fourth
another
there.
spot.
Just at the right time. 30th lap coming up very soon, which means 15 to go. There they are, looming in the background. You can see that all-blue Ultimate Headers car of Andretti. And behind him, it's Barry Bowes. And behind him, Connor Mosack. Then Hurley drops to 7th. Hearn has recovered to 8th position at the moment. And as we welcome our MAV viewers back, quite a lot of drama going on in the background. We're on board with Adam Andretti, who's definitely in for a shot at the podium now, because Cruz has now taken the lead, but it's dropped Hearn in the process down to 8th position. He's spun out and he's back out on track, but he's 8th. They came together, just a touch anyway, as they went through the turn 3 complex, and unfortunately, let's have a look at it, boys. What do you see? Into 4.
It's a pretty good move on the outside. Then he got
See,
off.
when he came, he just came back on the track and got into him.
Yeah, he should have backed back out.
Yeah.
So who would you put any fault, if any, at?
It'd have to be on Cruz on that
Okay.
one.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Brent Cruz is just a 16-year-old, but he's got bags of experience. He's actually a former world kart champion. And him and Zilic grew up together racing, and they could have gone any which way in terms of where they race. But both of them looking towards NASCAR, and there's no question in my mind that you're going to see those names right at the big end of the Cup Series very soon. And now, let's have a look at the lap times. Matos, last time out, a 1:25.6, so he's on the pace. The leader's doing 1:25.5, so, you know, a little bit more push, and Matos right there, though, and that bodes well for the final 10 laps, which is where Matos makes his hay.
Yeah, that's, you know, you've got the experience talking right here with Matos and Andretti, and, you know, these guys they know how to run these races from start to finish and take care of their stuff.
Yeah, shout out to Coolbox. Of course, we use the Coolbox Cool Mover of the race each and every race, but they'll be using them today for sure, as Jim Gallagher, who was stuck in the gravel at Keyhole earlier in this race, is gone back out, and now they're checking on the car, so something's still not right. After him going off, he went straight on at the keyhole, just missed his braking point, but they're checking the car again, and, well, we'll try and get him out. Jim Gallagher been around racing in Trans Am for many a year, a regular here with Cope Racing. Big contingent from Mike Cope Racing this weekend. And it's not been an easy weekend, though. Merrill getting turned round early on. Hearn, likewise, now making his way through. And damaged car on the track. Caleb Bacon coming through.
Wait a minute.
So anyway, I'd like to thank everybody and you guys for having me here. Sitting next to Wally.
You've got your chief mechanic with you as well.
Sitting next to got my kid here and Dyson's kid here. I wanted to say thank you to everybody. Wally, hope you do many more races with us.
Oh, I forgot you don't have people to prepare your car. Wally's got that all in hand.
Yeah, wait a minute. I saw this thing going up. Say goodbye
Kick
to Tommy. He has
Tommy
to
out of
qualify.
here.
Wait a minute. I have to qualify
you can
too.
stay here and have a good
qualify
time.
here.
Yeah. So they're
Well,
kicking me out of here.
I totally respect it.
I love racing with this guy. We've had some really good, clean battles together, and that's why I love doing this, because I love racing with guys like Tommy. When we go out there, we have a lot of fun. We take care of each other.
Yeah.
So.
Cheers to everybody at Trans Am, Green Light. Thank you very much. Lucas, Mission, Franklin Road. Just thank you very much. MAV TV, wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
great to have.
What a show.
Well, you're getting some coverage. You're definitely getting some coverage on MAV TV with that logo.
Yeah.
Well, listen, thanks for coming in. You've obviously got him
Thank
intimidated.
you for having me.
Wally,
No.
rushing on.
Wally's going to stay for a while.
Yeah.
See you guys later.
I think you've got him worried. He's thinking, hang on a minute. He's a bit relaxed.
You got time. Bye.
Hey, thanks, Tommy Priestley. He'll be in action in qualifying and obviously in the race on our feature race tomorrow as we take a look at Caleb Bacon. And he is further down the field than he wants to be, for sure, in the number 18. There he is. CB Racing got a huge pedigree in IMSA racing, and they were finding it hard to basically go from what has been really sophisticated sports cars to these a little bit more rudimentary Trans Am cars. So with not a lot to work with, CB have come in here and have got bags and years of professionalism. And of course, the Bacon name is synonymous with racing at that level. So we wish them well, but this one not working out as well as they'd like. So as we take a look at Doug Peterson in the 87, Peterson in 13th and Bacon just behind him, but about to make a move. We're on board with Barry Bowes as well. And Barry Bowes up to 5th place now, the Texan, and leading in PA. So a good run so far for Barry Bowes. And what a season it's turning out for him. Really good.
Yeah, he's done a nice job. We've watched him a lot today. He's made some really good passes, no mistakes. Really nice.
And it looks
really
like
nice
he's closing in on Andretti too. Of course, who's 4th.
Yeah.
So another good Ford versus Camaro battle. And there you see it. There's Andretti in the all-blue Ultimate Headers. In 4th position, Bowes behind him. Then Mosak, Hurley, Hearn. Borisset Jr. still in the top 10. And Ruggiero in 10th position now. Lostowski just dropping out of the top 10. Merrill recovering to 12th position in the 26. Yeah, it's going to be a good battle if he can get up on level terms with Andretti in the closing stages.
Looks like he's gaining on him.
Where
sure.
is there a point in the race when you're racing Trans Am where you go, okay, you look at it 32. Do you wait to 35 and go, okay, I got 10 laps, now I just, come hell or high water, I've got to go for it?
It really depends on what your car's doing. I mean, a lot of times when you get in this stage of the race, you're just doing everything you can just to make good lap times.
Yeah.
It's not like you can drive any harder.
Yeah.
And another thing about these cars is that if you think you can drive them harder, that's when you start making mistakes.
Right.
And that's when you go too far in the braking zone, or you hit a curve and it knocks you out of the way. So listen, these guys are running hard, as hard as they can, that their car will give them. Because if you start taking more than it'll give you, that's when you start running into problems with making mistakes and losing time.
Yeah, it's like being a 100-meter runner and then being told to do the 400 meters. You don't go any slower. Welcome back to our MAV viewers as we dive into the keyhole. Barry Bowes making good ground on Adam Andretti, who is 4th overall at the moment. Out front, it's still Brent Cruz, who now has a 3-second lead over Jake Drew. We're looking at this man, Ben Mayer, a former winner, and Mayer dropped out a little bit and having been at the sharp end of top 5 early on, has dropped down now to 22nd position. So not a good day at the office for the Nitro man that is Ben Mayer. So he'll live to fight another day, but his teammate Cruz is flying. Got a great result last night with a podium in the ARCA series. Got a little bit of extra track knowledge, I suppose, not that he needs it. Ben Mayer got that win at Worldwide Technology earlier this year. We were talking about him. He's still only 15 years of age, but it made a big difference to his confidence for sure, because he's been sharp. He's been at the sharp end for a lot of his first seasons in Trans Am, but he really broke out at Worldwide Technology and showed us what he could do. Now, this is an interesting factor too, because in fact, he's now catching his teammate. He won't get in the way, of course, but it's a factor for Cruz that he's now coming up on traffic, which he knows is actually competitive traffic, because Ben Mayer's no slouch. But as teammates, he should just let him by, right?
Yeah, well, yes, he will. You know, if they do get into traffic, that's a big factor here late in the race too, because it's really hard to get through traffic on this track because there's so many turns and everything. You catch one guy in the wrong place, it could cost you 2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah, well, that was the easiest overtake Cruz has ever had to do through 5. He makes it very easy indeed, but that's your teammate for you. And through goes the leader. So he's already getting into traffic, and he's already now starting to chase down Raymond, Winston, and Phillips, who are ahead in 21st, 20th, and 19th place. That's our leader, Brent Cruz, taking that gap to Jake Drew in 2nd place to 4th at the moment. Yeah, it's
and really, you know, you try to start timing too.
Yeah.
When you start seeing a car that you're going to be lapping, you try to time it where you catch that guy in the place that you can try to make a move.
Yeah.
You don't want to catch him and then stall behind him. So it's really a fine balance on trying to time everything out to where you don't lose time to the guy that's chasing you while you're catching and passing a lap car.
Yeah, and Mid-Ohio is deceptive. It looks like there's a lot of places to overtake, but once you get into the rhythm of the race line, there's very few places to overtake that aren't risky.
Right.
Here's the obvious place, obviously, and that's where we've seen most of the overtaking, into this right-hander here and then the next left-hander. And, of course, Franklin Road, still a part of what Cruz is up to, but he's pretty much piled in on the sponsors at the moment. Part of the Toyota development program for NASCAR. Trains there every week and learning like a sponge. Got to know his mum well.
See, I think Drew caught that car in the wrong spot because you look at the gap now. Just as I was saying, if you get somebody in the wrong place, it really costs you.
It hasn't done. Yeah, Brent's been working hard on his media training and his fitness, and basically just doing late models, midgets, you name it. Anything he can throw himself in. And that's why he's kind of mixed it up this year and is racing all sorts of different categories to just give himself as much seat time as possible. And I don't think anybody would bet against that. That's always good advice.
That's what you have. I mean, you have to do. You have to be versatile. And any race car you drive, you're going to learn something. And it's all about car control. I don't care what you're racing. It's all about car control. You being comfortable with the car being on edge. And the more you can drive, the more experience and seat time you get, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah, and also psychologically as a sportsman, you just, finishing 20th every day in the same series, it's soul destroying. You want to have that opportunity. That's certainly helped with the Pro-Am series this year. It's opened up for the likes of Barry Bowes, Sabato, and Prochuk and Sheen. They're fighting for their own championship, and they can pick and choose how many events they want to be. They don't have to do the pressure of the whole championship. So, I think it has opened this championship up nicely for them and given them a real sense of objective, if you like, and a benchmark who their competition truly is, rather than taking on a full field of 40. As we go back to watch Adam Andretti, currently in 4th.
Yeah, Adam pretty much holding his own. I mean, his lap times are a little bit, slower than the 3 guys in front of him, but they're very consistent.
Car starting to slide. I noticed that with Cruz and with Andretti here. Starting to slide underneath them, but we expected that in a long race like this. We'll see it more here and let you work out whether he's enjoying this or it's a struggle.
Well, I mean, the car looks good. He's hitting his lines, but you're only running as hard as the grip will give you.
Yeah.
And, it looks smooth. The car looks good. But absolutely, this point in the race, you're working. you're working hard in that seat because the car is sliding a lot more than it was 25 laps ago.
Well, he's some 12 seconds off Matos at the moment, and the leaders really glued together, Cruz, Drew, and Matos at the front as we go back on board with Barry Bose, who's dropped again to 7th, and Hearn now up to 6th. So Hearn has done a great job. Nathan Hearn of Australia has got up to 6th place. Mosak has got ahead of him. So we're having a late run from two very skilled youngsters in Connor Mosak in the 57 and Nathan Hearn in the 15. And there he is. Mosak just ahead of him in that orange and grey.
Yeah, Hearn still has a good car.
Yeah.
You can see, the car is cornering really well. It's getting into the corner really well. The brakes are good, so still has a pretty... Oh, he just went too hard right there, though.
Yeah, that was
He got a little bit greedy, and the car slid out on him.
It's nice to see from above. It's very obvious, isn't it, when you see it from above?
Yes, yeah.
Well, Mosak gets a little bit of breathing room then. Hurley still in the top 10. He's 8th at the moment. Boris said has maintained his position in the top 10. He's currently in 9th. Just at the back of your shot there. There he is. Through goes the 27 of Bose. And then the 20 of Hurley. Josh Hurley, of course, our E-champion from a few years ago. And a great driver coach. We'll have him in the booth later this weekend. And it's always interesting to hear a driver coach because they see it from so many different angles in terms of they kind of go into teach mode and what they would tell a driver if they were watching it like that. And it helps us as the audience because we don't get a chance to drive these machines. So listening to you guys tell us about it is the fascinating part. We're getting down to the business end of this one. 38 of the 45 gone. It's still our youngster and champion Brent Cruz leading the way for Nitro Motorsport. We've got a great battle here between Mosak and Hearn. Hearn, like a dog with a bone, does not want to let Mosak go. And well, he might. He needs some good results out of this. And as we welcome our Mad fans back, Barry Bose all over the back of this battle between Mosak and Hearn. Hearn doing a really good job of putting the pressure on. Closing stages, 39 laps of the 45. And if you're going to pull the pin, it's about time to do it, Wally, right?
That's exactly what I was just thinking. It's like, okay, now everybody's getting up in the seat a little bit. The adrenaline is pumping a little bit more. It's also when you start trying a little bit harder.
And I've just seen somebody going slow just at the entry to pit lane, and it's one of the HP cars, so that be Merrill or Prochuk. And we'll see one of the Coke cars as and it looks like it's Merrill. It's Merrill's coming in, and that's bad news for his championship. So Thomas Merrill, disappointment for the man who started out the weekend right in the hunt in third position, just 5 points behind Thomas Annunziata, who's also at the back of this group. He's 28th at the moment, Annunziata, having qualified well. There he is. And HP Tuners Coke Race Cars, number 26, the 2022 champion from Salinas, California, Thomas Merrill. Well, they're putting tires on, but there must be something more than just that.
I noticed, I don't know what the problem is, but I noticed there's a lot of grass in the grill.
Yeah.
From that off.
Well, it may, to be honest, don't you remember? I think it was Thomas that went across the drive. Yeah, so that's... Yeah.
But, I mean, it doesn't look like it's overheating. They
No.
kind of looked at it and sent them back out.
5 to go then. Nitty-gritty time. And at this time, it is the Concord American flagpole looking to raise that flag because Matos is a fox, and he is always there when it comes to this point in the race. So, Matos, what can he do from third? A podium will take him to where he needs to be. He had a 62-point lead coming into this race, and that's the beauty of someone like Matos. He doesn't get overawed if he's not winning every race. He just lets the race come to him, and maybe you could explain that, Wally, but you know what I mean by saying
Absolutely.
that. When you're good and you're fast, you don't need to prove anything to anybody. Sometimes the race can come to you.
That and normally does, but that experience.
Yep.
A guy that's been around like Rafa, I mean, he knows that. You know, you can't win them all.
Yep.
And if you're going to be going for a championship, sometimes you got to take what you can get. But a lot of times, you know, those veterans are faster at the end of the race because they've saved a little. They haven't gotten greedy and taken from the race car what it's not given them.
Yeah, that's always been what I've noticed watching Rafa race over the years is that he does tend to just have that last 10 laps down pat. And if he wins more races than perhaps somebody else, and of course he's won a record 23 races now in his career. He leads the overall Trans Am TA2 record, but he just seems to have that little bit extra in the last 10 laps. And that's where he's made his hay, and he's kind of doing it again today.
I think when you're in a position like that, it's like, yeah, you're right. You've got nothing to prove. So I think back earlier in Rafa's career, he would go for it and make mistakes. And it was win or lose, you know, but the experience he's gotten to be such a smart race car driver. And that's why he's always a threat for the championship.
Yeah, a team manager once told me that when assessing a racing driver, they want to know how good they are on the equipment. You don't test a guy for a race seat that's going to bend your equipment.
Right.
So if you are a good pedaler that just keeps out of trouble, test or race, then you're going to get looked at if you can be consistent.
In the long run, that's what you want.
Yep. So Barry Bowes has had a great day, and he's taking on Connor Mosack, who's without doubt one of our up-and-coming superstars, racing currently in Xfinity, and last night did ARCA, so he too a busy lad. He went up to Xfinity for a full season, but has come back to Trans Am, and that just shows you how important it is to cut your teeth, because he didn't have the year he wanted, and he's come back to get another season under his belt, get more seat time. Still in his early 20s, so Mosack definitely going to be a name that you will hear, just as we hear Ty Gibbs these days, and Christopher Bell, and so many others that have come through this. Haley, you name it. And I always love coming to this race to see what the future holds when ARCA are here, or Xfinity. And Ruggiero, another man from Massachusetts originally, now living in North Carolina, making his name, and he too has been racing ARCA. Had a good run last night too. He, in the end, didn't get the result, but he's been running well. Had Ruggiero, and in the end, just finished behind Brent Cruz.
This group has been pretty much running nose to tail for most of the race.
I know, it's like they're glued together. It's a great race. Look at this.
Yeah.
Now Hurley making a move. Well, it's time to make that move now, isn't it?
Very nice. If you can hold it. Yep. Very nice.
Mario's
Good
getting
move.
out of shape there.
Yeah.
He's unstuck.
That's a really hard pass to make that he just did, but that was good.
Very good. Yeah, it's been a real evolution of racing for Barry Bowes this season. He really has settled down and felt really comfortable with this team, this new team that he's with.
It takes a lot of pressure off when
Yeah.
you're in a situation like that for a driver. You know, all you got to do is worry about driving, you know, and that does make it easier.
Mitch Gutberg, of course, drove for many years for BC Cars from Canada. And we've got another one of the HB cars. Is this Pro Chuck coming into the pits, I wonder? Or has Merrill coming in and out? I think we'll soon find out. But we've seen another one of the HB cars come down pit lane. Mosack still under pressure from Bowes. And that would be a great scalp for him. 43 of the 45 done. And the gap between Cruz and Matos now 9 seconds. Matos has got ahead of Drew up to second place, but he's not going to get any further, in my opinion anyway. 9 seconds is too much against a champion and a teammate.
Yeah. No, I think this is a great run for him today. Great points day in one piece. He's doing what he needs to do. Like I said, it's a big picture when you're going for a championship.
Yeah, Cruz doesn't bother Matos. He knows that they're both teammates, but at the same time, Cruz isn't doing the full season, so let him have this one, and he'll take the points, and we'll see the gap in a moment, but he's not even in the same picture at the moment because it is almost 10 seconds as he dives into Keyhole. The Franklin Road sponsored, Brembo sponsored number 70. Mobil also part of the sponsorship. He took that sponsorship to last night's race as well. So it's been a pretty good weekend for Brent Cruz, the understated champion, as I call him. Very quiet lad. He's grown in confidence in the last year. Literally grew up in front of our faces as boy to man, and taking that championship made a huge difference. 4 wins last year, and he's really absolutely on fire. Got the world at his feet at just 16 years of age as we go back with Adam Andretti. His cousin Marco was racing here last night in Menards.
Good run for Adam.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I think he started 11th or 12th and just really struggled this weekend. But like I said, Adam always moves forward in the race.
So are you telling me Adam's got to get straight out of this qualifying?
Yeah.
Oh. So, wow, what a day in
and
the office.
And hopefully that will affect his qualifying laps a little bit.
That was
hopefully
very
he's really tired.
Tommy Greasy's already gone to take his jacuzzi and get ready and a massage before unlaunching himself into qualifying. But this is the final lap then, and here is Brent Cruz heading down on what has been a very good and immaculate performance. He's bided his time more than anything else as the Coke car's number 70, because just didn't get too dramatic at the start and tried to push too hard. Made his way through. There were lots of cars going off in the top 3. Hearn was in a good battle early on, and then Rostowski had a spin. And bit by bit, he and Matos have moved themselves forward. And the 2 Nitro boys are going to make it a Nitro 1 and 2. And you add Drew to that, and you've got one heck of a weekend, no question about it. So it's been a big weekend for the guys at the front.
Wow, somebody's off. Not in a good spot there. I don't know who that was. Blue car.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he stopped where he was. Time ticking down then. This is the final lap, and Brent Cruz doing a really good job. Just biding his time, coming out of the carousel for the last time. He'll see the checkered flag, and there it is. Brent Cruz takes another win in Trans Am, his first of the season this year. Raced at Sebring to good effect there. But he's back in the car, and across the line will come second place Rafa Matos. Jake Drew will come across the line for Silverhair Racing. So it's not been too bad for Silverhair either, as Jake Drew holds the flag for Silverhair Racing and takes the podium. Andretti crosses the line now. Good finish for him. Teammate, of course, to the man alongside me, Wally Dollenbach Jr., who will be in action in the feature race tomorrow. But all in all, some good drama, some good racecraft. The odd few mistake here. The heat was a factor, but not to the point where it was exhaustive. I think these guys are going to be all right. I'm not so sure about the guys about to get back in and strap themselves in for another qualifying like Adam Andretti, but all the same. Brent Cruz then, Rafa Matos, Jake Drew, your top 3. Then it's Adam Andretti in 4th position, Connor Mosack in 5th, Barry Bowes 6th, Boris Said Jr. 7th, Ruggiero in 8th, Caleb Bacon 9th, and Sabato rounding out the top 10. Good recovery from Sabato and Bacon. They were way back at the beginning of the race and just piled on through. Same with Doug Peterson, making 11th place. Keith Prochuk in the number 9 HP Tuners Coke car was 12th. And Matt Tift, a local man from the area of Ohio, about a 2-hour drive from where he hails from. And Matt Tift coming into Trans Am for the first time this season in 13th position ahead of Tommy Sheehan and Cale Phillips, also coming in this weekend. Well done, though, to Barry Bowes. 6 overall and a win in Pro-Am. But as we look down the pit lane, we'll hear from Brent Cruz in a minute. And just a good, clean performance with what you'd expect. And that's why, when you look at champions, they are. It's because they just time it right.
Yeah. No, these guys all did a great job. And Brent ran a great race. He was smooth. You know, you kind of look at the top 10 of these guys, and they all just did a really nice job. No big mistakes. And that's the big thing. A place like this, too. I mean, one little mistake and you can lose 4 or 5 spots in a second.
And like you say, decisiveness too, because we've had several situations where the overtakes just weren't as clean as they would have liked.
Yeah.
You could see what they were trying to do, and you knew that there was going to be a battle between the two of them, but it just didn't.
It wasn't like there was any intentional stuff today, but it was just stuff that it was, wrong place at the wrong time.
Well, there is Brent Cruz out of the car. Good job. So Brent Cruz gets the accolades. Nick Tucker and the team congratulating him. They've worked together since he was just a nip up. Brent Cruz is out of the car and ready to talk about what was a great victory. The Jim Weed Winner's Circle is ready to go, and that means Ben Sissel is about to talk to our winner, Brent Cruz.
Well, thank you, Jonathan. Truly a Bennett Bridge Hull Classic here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course for the Cube 3 TA2 Architecture Series. But, man, Brent, if my memory serves me correct, 2 second-place finishes. Wait, hold on. Hey, Joe, will you catch your car? The last 2 years, so this first place has to feel pretty good.
It sure does. First of all, I want to give all glory to the man above. The Lord's done so much for me in my career, and this Nitro 70 Franklin Road Apparel car, oh my goodness, man. That thing was pretty fast. I know it felt good in the car. I'm pretty sure it looked good.
Here we go.
Cruise Missile is back! That was warm water. That's all I had.
Yeah, we had a great race car, and I just want to give thanks to Nitro. Joe Clary just worked his ass off. Jimmy Live, Nacho, my dad, all these guys spotted for me. Nick Tucker, who brought a really fast race car. I think he's tired of finishing second here. I think he wanted to win. So that's what we were able to do, and it's good to get both cars in the top 2. So I'm happy for this whole Nitro Motorsports team. I just want to thank everybody at Toyota Racing and Mobile One. Sadly, we didn't get in victory lane yesterday, but a first and a second for this weekend ain't too bad. Also want to give a big thanks to Ken Thwaites over there in Franklin Road Apparel. Wouldn't be able to do it without him, and happy to put this thing in victory lane.
Nice, yeah. Well, hold on. Ken Thwaites, real quick. That's got to feel really good. Ken Thwaites, Nick Tucker, that's got to feel really good on the top step.
Yeah, it's great. Franklin Road's back in the winner's circle again. Nitro is always in the winner's circle. We always like to be with winners, man.
Nice.
I have to thank Ken. We couldn't be here with the 70 car if it wasn't for him. What a inspirational day watching Brent just put on a clinic. And, wow, it's a pleasure to work with a kid. It's a pleasure to have a great partner like Ken and Franklin Road that make it possible for us.
Nice. Couldn't have said it better myself. Back to you, gentlemen, in the booth.
Yep, that's all the right people getting all the right questions, and Brent doing the professional job of thanking all of those right people. It's been an interesting race. Let's take a look at some of the highlights of our TA2 Cube 3 Architecture race from Mid-Ohio. We got off to a splendid start with Hearn and Green going wheel to wheel, swapping fairings almost, or swapping parts of the cars. A spin for the 26 of Merrill put him in trouble. Brent Cruz making his way through, and first of all dispensed with the number 7. Annunziata tried to make it from the back, but then got trouble and had to retire. Got back into the pits, got back out of go, and will score points. He finished 28. But at the front, real drama as Austin Green trying to make a way back from the lead, and then gets in trouble as he hits the back of Hearn. Hearn had no harm done, no foul, but then Cruz and Hearn come together. This time Hearn came off worse, and once that was happened, Cruz never looked back. It was the Cruz missile once again. So, confirmation of the results then. Ford and Nitro Motorsports win here in Mid-Ohio. Rafa Matos in the same team and the same car takes second place. Jake Drew for Silverhair Racing in the Chevrolet takes third. Adam Andretti is fourth for Ultimate Headers. Good result for Adam, who's had a tough time since his win at Road Atlanta in TA. Connor Mosak fifth. Good recovery by him. Very good recovery. Barry Bowes, an excellent run by him to lead and win in Pro-Am. Boris Said Jr. in seventh. Ruggiero in eighth. Caleb Bacon ninth. Roberto Sabato rounding out the top 10 and second in PA. Third in PA, Keith Procek just behind Doug Peterson. And then Matt Tift, Sheehan, Phillips, Winston, Raymond, Hurley. Something must have happened to Josh Hurley at the end there, because he's down in 18th position, having run as high as, fourth at one point. Same for Ben Mayer, down in 21st. Sadly, Nathan Hearn will finish in 22nd. Jim Gallagher also having problems at the keyhole. A spin for Lostowski, Austin Green out, Odrick, Durbin, Annunziata, and Caton likewise. So, halfway or just over now for the season. Plenty of great iconic venues to come, whether it be Watkins Glen, Cota, or many of the other great tracks we go to. Don't forget, Thursday nights is your Trans Am night on MAV TV. Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course will start at 8 p.m. Eastern for the TA2 race, and TA will be at 9 p.m. Eastern. So you can see all your action and get all the highlights. Tell your friends if you saw a good race today, tell them where they can watch it on Thursday night. My thanks to Wally Dollenbach, Jr. I'll let you go because you've got to go qualify.
I don't want to leave this booth.
No.
It's
You go.
really
Yes,
air
it's
conditioning.
nice and warm here. I'll be thinking of you in qualifying.
Yeah, no, thank you.
What can you get out of it today?
You know what? We're not. I don't care about qualifying. Never did. I mean, we'll go out and rip a couple of laps, and where we end up, we end up. I always concentrate on race setup.
Okay.
So I'm not going to wear the thing out trying to get a great lap, but the car's good, and I think we're going to be good tomorrow.
Well, great to have you in the booth and get your insight. Same with Tommy Dreesen. My thanks to him. We'll get you out there to qualify head-to-head, you two. Thanks for coming in. And more great racing to come from Mid-Ohio. Hot Mid-Ohio this weekend. But the racing is superb. Stay with us. So I'll let Wally head off, and as you can see, they're cleaning the track, getting ready for the podium. That will be followed. And yeah, if you missed what we were saying earlier, they repaved this track in the winter. And that has made a big difference, but everybody liking the new surface. So let's take a look at some of our coolest moves of the race. And well, we'll look at the coolest move of the race, because each and every week we hand a cool move of the race. And this is Nathan Hearn making his way on Connor Mosack. And a good battle between these two. And you can see that Nathan Hearn really wanted it. And it was a good showing by Nathan, despite the fact that he didn't get the result that he wanted in the end. Good to see Nathan Hearn back to his fun ways, and he is our cool move of the race. Let's head down now to Ben Cecil, who is getting ready to do the podium for TA2.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, get loud. The Mid-Ohio SpeedTour here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Come on, I say get loud. Come on, people. Even the Nitro crew. Come on, there we go. Jimmy Live can get loud. The Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series. That was another great show. We are going to start with our TA2 Pro-Am in third place from Chicago, driving that HP Tuners Cope race cars, Ford Mustang. Let's hear it, number 9, Keith Prochek. Mid-Ohio, I know it's hot, but you guys have got to get louder than that now. Come on, Keith Prochek, Pro-Am, third place. In second place, I talked to this man at the grid. Welcome back, Roberto Sabato, second place, Pro-Am. Where's my crowd? Come on, crowd. There we go. Here, they're coming alive now.
Mary's at medical.
Okay. And then in first place, but he had to go to medical because it is hot out here. Let's give a big round of applause for Barry Bowes in first place, who isn't here because he's in medical. So, Prochek. Yeah, he had to go to, I think maybe heat. Yeah, it's hot out there. I don't know if you guys know that. So, Prochek, how was your race out there?
Yeah, hot is the key word. Take your time up the stairs there. It's pretty exhausting. Fortunately, we've made a lot of progress over the years in the cooling of these cars, so it wasn't as bad. But yeah, congrats to Sabato and congrats to Barry. They drove a fantastic race, and yeah, it's hot.
How about that? Keith Prochek, ladies and gentlemen, HP Tuners. I talked to you, and you had the strategy to keep cool there. How's it feel back on the podium with Trans Am?
feels amazing, but I have to thank my team. They were amazing. My competitors drove very clean, and I almost thought I had to go to medical too after. I had to pour 3 bottles over my head to recuperate. So thank you, Trans Am. This was amazing. Anything can happen in the race. It just proves it.
Nice. I love it. I love it. Chris, do you want them on the top step together? Okay, yeah, if you guys will both just stand together there. All right, Mid-Ohio, come on, let's get loud. Let's show some support. Keith Prochek, Roberto Sabato, and then with Team SLR, Barry Bowes. Hold those Cube 3 Architecture Stress Cubes. There we go. Yeah, throw them out there. There you go. Oh. Wait, we got to do the hat dance, guys. Stay up here real quick. All right, come on, Mid-Ohio, especially you guys right here. Come on, you look like you can get loud. Let's go. Come on, Keith Prochek, Roberto Sabato, and Barry Bowes. But you guys have the wrong hats. Here we go. Yeah, but you're second. You want you want the second. Yeah, I'm trying to help you out, man. Keith will gladly keep that second hat. There we go. Thank you guys. Chris, you got everything? All right, we're good, he says. Thank you guys. How about a round of applause? Applaud them off. Roberto Sabato. Oh, Keith Prochek. There you go. You guys, no, you don't even worry about it. Take that home. Enjoy the champagne. There you go. How about that? Ladies and gentlemen, it is hot out here in Mid-Ohio. TA2 Masters back with us. Hasn't been back with us since the beginning of the season at Sebring. TA2 Masters, the number 87, three-dimensional services group in that beautiful camo car. Let's hear it for Doug Peterson. Come on, get loud here. Doug Peterson, a Trans Am champion, longtime Trans Am supporter. Three-dimensional services group has done so much for the Trans Am series. It's awesome to have Doug back here in the top step, honoring Bruce B. Miller, a photographer friend of all of us. So, Doug, jump up on here, top step. Man, I've been watching you guys in Xfinity. You're doing so well. So cool to see you. Nick Middleton passing out the trophies. Hot one out there today. How was it?
Oh, it wasn't that bad.
Really?
No, it was hot. Ooh. Especially when the helmet blower stops about midway. So I think we need a new helmet blower, guys. But yeah, it was a great race. Really, it's super fun to race clean. And I don't know, the 18 and 61, we were going back and forth, super clean. I wasn't blocking them. They weren't blocking me, so that was pretty good.
Nice. How about that? Ladies and gentlemen, Doug Peterson, three-dimensional services group. Doug, it's so awesome to have you back and running that Bruce B. Miller livery. Thank you so much, Doug. One more for that. Come on, let's get loud. Longtime supporter of the Trans Am series, Doug Peterson, and Trans Am champion. Doug, go cool off, because it's about to get hot here at Winner's Circle. Ladies and gentlemen, in third place, putting on a great show with Silver Hair Racing. We spoke to him at the grid, but let's hear it. Jake Drew, ladies and gentlemen, come on, get loud, Mid-Ohio. Third place overall with Silver Hair Racing. Two-time Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series champion, the most winning driver in TA2 history, running that Concord American Flagpole Company, white car with Nitro Motorsports. Let's hear it for Rafa Matos. Getting the hug from Nick Middleton. How about a hand for Nick Middleton, owner, CEO of Cube 3 Architecture, comes out to every race and gives us these beautiful stress cubes. How cool is that? Now, I got to tell this story when these cars pass. The last 2 seasons, this gentleman has finished second here at Mid-Ohio. Last night, he led probably 90% of the race with ARCA, and then ended up finishing second. Hey, Jimmy Live, Chris is yelling at you. You got to go back. Finished second, but today, top step, Brake Cruz, ladies and gentlemen, Nitro Motorsports, Franklin Road Apparel Company, last year's TA2 champion. So finally got to the top step. That's got to feel pretty good. Nick Tucker, where are you at? Johanna, that's got to feel pretty good, right? Yeah, she says yeah. There he is. Nick's back there, getting the shot there with Nick Middleton. Come on up here. Jake Drew, man, you had the best seat in the house, everything that was happening in front of you, and just kind of slowly, methodically moving your way up to the podium.
Yeah, first of all, I got to thank my Silver Hair crew guys. I worked their tails off this week. They were working so hard to get this car tuned in, and I'm so thankful for them and how hard they worked this week. We had a great car that whole race, and it felt like we just kept getting stronger. And sadly, I made some mistakes there at the end, and Rafa got by, but super happy to be up here on the podium. Super thankful to Maurice and Laura, Silver Hair Racing, for this awesome opportunity. And, of course, thankful to Cube 3 Architecture for helping support this series, and Trans Am TA2 for having us all here.
Nice. How about that? And speaking of Laura, I just happened to be in the pit box when you made a great move, and she raised her hands and cheered so loud for us. You've got a big fan there in Laura, so thank you guys so much. Laura, Maurice Hall with Silver Hair, awesome competitors. And speaking of that, Rafa Matos, our current points leader, correct? And then our most winning Trans Am 2 champion and Trans Am 2 driver. So this has got to feel pretty good for the points and the championship.
Yeah, without a doubt. It was a good day for the championship. You know, it's going to take a lot of second, thirds, and fourth place to win the championship. I don't think we had the pace to beat that 70 car. You know, hats off to the Nitro Motorsports crew, obviously, you know, having the top 2 positions on the podium here today. Big shout to Concord American Flag Pole Company supporting our program. Chris Dyson, you know, a big supporter of us, and you know, just a little bit of understeer, a little bit tight in the race. I think we won the race last year. Brent finished second. This year was the opposite. So hats off to him. Great job, Nitro Motorsports. We'll keep working and making those cars better and better, and hopefully we'll win the next one. Thank you.
Nice. Rafa Matos, ladies and gentlemen. Brent Cruz, fastest car last night. Fastest car today. I got to say, lap like 37. He set the fastest time out there, which is just crazy for how hot it is. So nice job. This is. We'll pause for some beautiful music. This has got to feel good, Brent.
Yeah, we won our best lap on the last lap. I just want to thank the good Lord above. I want to thank everybody on this whole Nitro Motorsports 70 team, Nick Tucker, and congratulations to Joe Claridge on his first win as a crew chief. So that was a good one to win, won by a lot, and had a badass race car the whole time. I want to thank everybody at Franklin Road Apparel and Ken Twaits, wherever he's at. Wouldn't be able to do it without him. This Nitro 70, holy smokes, it was good this weekend. Congrats to Rafa and them. The whole Nitro team did a great job. I want to thank Mike Cope, everybody a part of this deal, and just the whole Nitro Motorsports team, and looking forward to Road America.
Nice. How about that? I love it. All right, hold those trophies up, gentlemen. There we go. And then Eric Whitnable from Medina, Ohio, and his dad is here this weekend. So let's hear it for Eric Whitnable, helping us out on the podium, hosting the SVRA podiums. The Cube 3 stress cubes are being displayed by our drivers, Mid-Ohio. Last chance, let's get loud. Come on now, Jake Drew, Rafa Matos, Brent Cruz. Who wants a stress cube? Oh, Melissa does. She needs one. There you go. Nice. Now Michelle is going to pass out the Pirelli hats. Come on, Mid-Ohio. I know you can get louder than that. Come on. Save 22. I know you can get louder than that. Jake Drew, Rafa Matos, Brent Cruz. The Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series. Nick Middleton, thumbs up. That was a good race, wasn't it? He says, awesome race. No. Well, you can do whatever you want to do, man. So we do have champagne for 2 of them, and then the top step gets sparkling water. Joe says, don't smash it. There we go. Oh, Rafa going right for that. Brent just cannot defend himself with the sparkling water. Look at that. But he is drinking it. Jake, nice job. Nice race. All right, Brent Cruz, don't go too far. Now, I said lap 37, but I was in race control, had to come here. But you said the fastest lap on the last lap? What does that say about these Pirelli P0s and the resilience of Brent Cruz? For that, he gets the Omologato watch for the fastest lap, but he wants to say something here.
I think it says something about this Nitro Motorsports car. I want to thank also my dad for everything he's done for me. Made a big mistake yesterday, so I'm glad we could capitalize today. I want to thank all my spotters. Nacho did a great job. Joe, Jimmy, and all them. So I just want to give a big thanks to them. And yeah, I think the tires for sure held up, but I think it's just showing how good our Nitro Motorsports car is, and looking forward to get it through in America.
Nice. All right, well, hold that watch up. I've never seen that watch before. That's pretty cool. Thank you so much. Congratulations, Brent. Matt, thank you for last night. I got to listen in on the radio a little. I've never gotten to do that before. That was really cool. Our cool box, cool move of the race, and this is going to come in handy on days like this. The number 57, Connor Mosak, ladies and gentlemen, running today with Silver Hair Racing, but got on the pole last night by half a second in the ARCA race. So, Connor, on days like this, you need some good cool box, cool suits, don't you?
For sure, it was a hot one, and definitely glad I had one of these in the car. Wish I had one last night because it was pretty hot. But just thanks to the Silver Hair guys, that was probably the most we struggled coming into the weekend, and probably that's the best result we've had so far this season. So I think did a good job working hard and getting it better all weekend, and just thank you to them, Pinnacle Racing Group, Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers, and Chevrolet for helping me get to the racetrack.
Nice. All right, hold that up for Chris there, ladies and gentlemen. How about a big hand? Connor Mosak, good day for Silver Hair Racing and Nitro Motorsports. Nice job. All right, Mid-Ohio, that does it here for the Q3 Architecture TA2 Series. Jonathan, I'm going to send it back up to you in the booth.
Thanks, Ben. And off the back of Connor Mosak and hearing from him and Silver Hair, we want to say congratulations to both Silver Hair and to Nitro Motorsports for what was a great showing. But there's no question that in these hot conditions, you have to be the coolest man out there. And I have to say, it doesn't surprise me that it goes to Connor Mosak, who was under pressure throughout that race, and he is our coolest move of the race by sheerly the fact that he was under pressure from this man, number 15, Nathan Hearn, early on, held on to that pressure, and eventually Hearn would go off track, but Connor Mosak really holding on nicely in a really good way and recovered to 5th place in the end. So he is our cool move of the weekend and receives another cool box. But well done to Connor Mosak. He is our cool move of the race. We'll have one every weekend. This weekend, it's Connor Mosak. Well, that's it, as Brent Cruise's car will be rolled away off the victory circle very soon. We look forward to more great racing from Mid-Ohio. But that concludes our coverage of the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series from Mid-Ohio, the halfway point of the season, and Rafa Matos extending his lead. More to come from Mid-Ohio, but for now, goodbye for now.
Kind of surprises things, and he rockets by Sima.
There's Boris said.
One of the ways you overtake here at Sebring is really good in the braking zone, like this one right here.
Both go around. There's the green.